Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, November 8th, 2020. Adam has Chelsea kidnapped and held hostage, and then stops by the coffee house to give Sharon his congrats on her wedding engagement. What is up? I don't even know. I spent half the week firm in my prediction that Chelsea was framing Adam for all of this chaos, that Chelsea had herself kidnapped. But then it got kind of hard to deny that it was Adam after he opened up a box full of Chelsea's things. He had her purse, her driver's license, her phone. He even sends a group text message pretending to be Chelsea, telling everyone that she's all right. I don't know. I want to believe that there's got to be some kind of twist here, but I don't know. I guess Adam had Chelsea kidnapped? Why? So that she wouldn't stand in the way of his grand plan to storm the castle? Is that it, or is there more? Is someone framing Adam? It just doesn't make sense to me that he would be doing this. Why would he want Chelsea to be kidnapped? After everything, she's still the mother of his child. There's still many years of affection and feelings there. But I don't know. Chelsea stopped by the penthouse this week right after we saw Adam's inner conflict about something playing out. It was the scared young boy in him versus the scorned man he has become. We saw little Adam this week trying to convince big Adam to be the better person, to not go through with something that he's planning. Little Adam was very judgmental on Big Adam. Little Adam definitely thinks that Big Adam is a big meanie. And they were going back and forth, arguing with themselves. I really like little Adam, and I think that the inner conflict that was going on there worked really well. Maybe it went on one day too long, but I think on the overall it was very effective. It was a good concept. It was well done. In fact, there was this remarkable moment where Big Adam was in the foreground, little Adam was sitting in the background, and it looked like Mark Grossman, Big Adam, was actually mouthing the words that little Adam was saying behind him. It created this effect of this is happening in Adam's mind. So as the little boy is talking, Adam's moving his lips, and if that was on purpose, it was absolutely brilliant. I really liked it. I really liked those scenes. Little Adam must be the youngest person to be back on set since coronavirus happened, which, by the way, it sounds like Y&R has had a couple of cases of coronavirus within their production. None of the actors or major players that I know about, but apparently some people on set have tested positive for coronavirus, yet Y&R is still continuing to film. The show must go on. Well, after Chelsea walks in on them arguing, him arguing with himself, Chelsea then started to argue with Adam. And I was actually really glad that that argument happened. I thought it was important because Chelsea was opening up to Adam, saying that she's really happy to be living at the Chancellor Mansion. She's happy to be in a home that is filled with love and laughter and family. Chelsea misses their family and all of the little moments that they shared together and all of the dreams that they had for their future together. This was actually the first moment between Adam and Chelsea since the breakup that I actually got a sense that either of them cared that the family they fought so hard for had just been destroyed over, I don't know, what was it again? Sharon? Of course, it did not go well. It did not play out with some grand reunion. Adam had to take that opportunity to push Chelsea's buttons by talking about Sharon. And then Chelsea had to take that opportunity to start pushing Adam's buttons by saying that he's broken. But then on the way out, Chelsea sneaks a peek at Adam's laptop, the one he's been tippity-tapping away on since last week, and Chelsea realizes that what Adam's got pulled up on his laptop are some schematics for Newman Tower. What on earth could he be planning to do with those? A break-in? A raid? Is Adam planning to throw a raging party in there and not tell his dad? That's my theory. Because after Chelsea leaves, Adam also opens up a box that got delivered to him. And there's a tank of some kind of gas inside of this box. What was that? What was in the tank? Was it oxygen? Was it tear gas? Or I don't know, maybe it was whippets for this raging party he's planning. A few mysterious text messages later. Side note, Adam has a lot of off-screen cohorts that we never end up seeing. I assume they all live in Las Vegas. But right after Adam gets and receives some mysterious text messages, Chelsea gets kidnapped. Like some man in black comes to the Chancellor Mansion door, picks her up off her feet, and carries her away. But it just so happened that Chelsea had contacted Chance to come over to the house right before she got kidnapped. So that got Chance's suspicions roused. Well, that and Chloe was also kind of probing Chance along there. Chloe knows something is not right. She got that text message from Chelsea and knew right away that it didn't sound like a message that would have come from Chelsea. And also, Chelsea wouldn't be leaving town right as she was talking about starting up her new design company and was feeling good about life and looking forward to a new start. So Chloe knows something's not right there. So she nudges Chance right over to Adam's house, and Chance tells Adam that if he had anything to do with Chelsea's disappearance, then he is going to make sure that Adam is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The fullest extent. You guys, not the halfest extent, the fullest. Okay. Chance also tells Ray that he's having Adam tailed. And from the previews for next week, it looks like maybe somebody is getting ready to shoot Adam. Like for the 16th time, maybe somebody is getting ready to shoot Adam. I don't know how many bullets this man could take. But there was definitely a gun, and Chance was yelling out at Adam. I don't know, maybe Adam was the one with the gun? I don't know. I don't know. I got the impression somebody's got a gun, and Adam could be shot to the full extent of the bullet. All this while, Chelsea is still being held hostage. She shows up after being kidnapped. She's trapped in a dingy locked basement room with bars on the windows. That just gives me the skeeves. Being trapped in a room where there's bars or wires or something on the windows and the door is locked and right in the middle of it is just a disgusting, filthy cot. A cot! Ugh, that is some serial killer stuff right there. Like, that's a serial killer rapey nightmare right there. I don't like it. It makes me very uncomfortable. I can only imagine her terror, and I hate it. It's really, really gotten up under my skin. And Chelsea figures right away that Adam must have been the one to do this to her, which again, it's like, I keep thinking this has got to be a red herring. Adam wouldn't do this, and the fact that it's been made to look like Adam has done it is what's making me think he couldn't have. I don't know. Chelsea thinks Adam's the one. He's holding her there to stop her or whatever his nefarious plan is. But hey, he's gone to the trouble of at least stocking the mini bar in the room. There's a nice little mini refrigerator sitting right there next to the door. She opens it up. There's a single bottle of water in it. And I guess it turned out not to be water, because Chelsea downs the whole bottle of water and then gives it a sniff afterwards, and after she starts to feel kind of woozy and funny, and she realizes that water must have been drugged or something, which I call BS on, because I heard the seal break when she opened that bottle of water, but whatever. I guess it was drugged. A drugged bottle of water. One drugged bottle of water. She passes out and she wakes up and has a series of nightmares and hallucinations. The first nightmare she has, she woke up at Adam's penthouse. I did actually have a moment of thinking, oh, was Chelsea dreaming all of this? Because she's waking up inside the penthouse, having never been kidnapped, and Adam is coming through the door looking very disheveled. And he is essentially coming back from having completed his dastardly deed at Newman Tower, whatever that is. And I'm realizing now, oh, this is definitely a hallucination of hers, because Adam is sitting there holding a key and looking real crazy and talking about how he's finally got the key to the kingdom. Okay, well, that's very literal. That's a very literal interpretation. But Chelsea's horrified because she realizes that anything she could have done to stop Adam from doing whatever he was gonna do was too late. All right, that's nightmare number one. Nightmare number two was Billy. Chelsea started hallucinating that Billy was in the basement room with her, telling her that he's not going to help her. In fact, he's glad that she's gone away from the children specifically, and that Billy will in fact make sure that both Connor and Johnny are raised to despise her. That she's gone. This is the end of the road for her, and Billy's going to make sure that those kids loathe even the mentioning of her name. So this is a fear of Chelsea's coming to light. And I guess I'm still floored. I don't understand why Johnny is suddenly such a factor in Chelsea's mind. Johnny's still so young. I think that if Johnny were older, maybe a teen, then maybe if Johnny had already known that Chelsea was his biological mother, yeah, then all right, we could maybe sit Johnny down, have a conversation with him, and give him the choice of whether he would like to start spending some time with Chelsea. But the deal was, and always was, that Billy and Victoria would adopt the kid, and then Chelsea would just go on with her life. And now she's suddenly trying to inch her way out of that deal. Victor pays a visit to Chelsea this week to try to convince her to spy on Adam. And Chelsea turns the tables on Victor and says, well, okay, I'll spy on Adam if you help me see my son. No, not Connor, forget him. She means Johnny. Ugh. Okay, first of all, Chelsea is back on Team Victor when it gets her something. If it gets her something. Like, Chelsea will help Victor out, even try to save his life, maybe kiss his butt a little bit, if it gets her what she wants. Chelsea flip-flops on the topic of Victor more than Adam does. Way more. Like a few weeks ago, Chelsea was poking and prodding Adam to launch some new revenge plan on Victor, and now this week she's practically offering Victor tea and crumpets at the Chancellor Mansion. But I thought it was going to get interesting because I did think that Chelsea's proposal was going to present Victor with an interesting dilemma. What does he want more? To try to find out what Adam is up to? Or to prove some loyalty to Victoria by alerting Victoria that Chelsea is a potential threat to her family? I thought for sure that Victor would run straight to Victoria, bring her completely up to speed on everything that Chelsea said. But no, he keeps that information under his stash, doesn't breathe a word about it, and instead tells Victoria and Nick that his plan is to stage an intervention with Adam. He wants to stage an intervention for Adam. What? An intervention? Is this a joke? Is this real? Is that really, like, what are they gonna do? Lure Adam to a room and threaten to disassociate with him if he doesn't reassociate with them? That's insane. And it's not going to work. There is never going to be some Newman family group hug at the end of all of this. Not now and not ever. Victor should know that. Victoria agrees to go, but only so that she can pursue her own agenda, which is to circumvent Victor's agenda. I'm sure that's going to go over real well. Victoria wants to call Adam's bluff and say to him, okay, well, if you're so intent on dropping the Newman name, then surely, Adam, you won't mind signing a document on the spot that says that you will forego all of your Newman inheritance, all of your Victor Newman dollars after the old guy croaks. Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna make Victor happy to hear. Like, Victoria wants Adam to right then and there forego his inheritance from Victor. Meanwhile, Victor's over here in the corner waving his hand saying, still alive! I had a blast this week watching Phyllis and Victoria actually work together to plan some fabulous Newman Enterprises executive retreat at the Grand Phoenix that we will never see. But OMG, the hot band they're going to hire is going to be so hot. This is fun. It's just fun and I'm eating it up. I love it. You know, I give Nick a lot of flack for being a dummy. But brokering peace between these two ladies, even if temporarily and forcing them to work together temporarily is actually one of the smartest things that he's done lately. Sure, it's all in self-preservation, but it still counts. I mean, you gotta give it to Nick. You really do. He brokered a really good peace deal there for them and for himself, most importantly. Because if Phyllis is happy and she's continuing on the nookie train with him, then he's happy. And if, on the other side, Victoria is happy and leaving him out of all of the tough family and or business decisions, then Nick is happy that way too. This new girl, Jordan, has something in her purse that will help Faith calm down, and I'm betting it's not gumdrops. Ooh. Faith walks into the coffee house this week while Adam is giving Sharon his engagement congrats, and Faith totally flips out. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want my mom being chummy with the guy who kidnapped me either. Kidnapping is kind of Adam's thing, though, honey. You have to understand. We all find it kind of cute and charming about him. Plus, I mean, it's not like he's kidnapped anyone lately. Right, Adam? I mean, it's not like you have any women being held hostage in a tiny room with a dirty cot right now. Right, Adam? I don't even believe it. I don't have any evidence or theories to support what else could be going on there, but I can't believe it. Faith totally lets loose on Adam, though, and I was really impressed with the raw emotion that the actress was giving us there. I really felt her desperation and her disbelief. It is so hard being that age, and I remember being that age where you're old enough to understand, but you're not old enough to exert any control over the situation, over your world. So Faith keeps turning to the only person who is showing her a path that she can control. After Faith's confrontation with Adam, she goes to the park and Jordan shows up, and Jordan opens up her bag to show Faith something that is supposed to make her feel better. It's gotta be drugs, right? I mean, hopefully it's good drugs. Maybe Faith and Jordan are gonna be, doing some Cheech and Chong up in the park. I don't know. Probably not, though. It's probably dangerous drugs. It's probably like some designer drugs that I don't even know about because I'm old and out of the loop. I don't altogether hate Jordan, though. In fact, I kind of like her. This is terrible. But she kind of reminds me of my bad girl best friend when I was around this age. I was just like Faith. I was a good girl. It was my bad girl best friend who pulled me into everything, and I didn't seek her out. She sought me out. She wanted to be friends with me. And then little by little, she pulled me into anything and everything I ever did wrong at around this age. I totally identified with Faith pulling the outfit switch so that her mom wouldn't see what she was wearing out to this house party, pool party that Jordan had gotten them both invited to. I mean, there were many days and nights where younger Allie left the house looking one way, and then as soon as the parents were out of sight, unbuttoned a button or two or switched things around a little bit. I'm there. I totally remember being that age. In fact, this was the age when I started watching Y&R. Everything just kind of blew up at around this age. So I think the teen rebel in me still kind of, I don't know, supports Faith doing some experimentation. I think it's natural for a teen to start pushing the boundaries, but then there's also the parent in me, and I look at Faith, and I think about my daughter, and I also think about how I can see what Jordan is doing. I can see that Jordan is trying to establish trust with Faith by fending off her bullies and bringing her along and being a friend to her. And all of that works to solidify her power over Faith. But then there's also the soap fan in me, and I can't help but worry that Faith is headed down the same path as Cassie, and Y&R has this bad habit of killing kids. Like, this is exactly, and I do mean exactly, the type of behavior that Cassie was exhibiting right before Cassie's death, just in the months before. The dressing more provocative, the interest in makeup, the being interested in older guys and going to parties. But that's kind of what being a teenager is, right? I mean, isn't that kind of what teen girls do? Isn't that just kind of part of the territory, the makeup and the guys? And I don't know, most of us survive. Most of us get out with, maybe a misdemeanor or two. I feel like Faith seems to have a pretty good, head on her shoulders. I think she's using her brain. She ended up coming home from the pool party because she heard some of the kids, talking about her. They were kind of talking smack about her being a loser, and they were talking it to Jordan. So, of course, she felt betrayed by Jordan, and also on top of, it's just more bullying that she's going through. And then after she leaves the party, she also gets another bully text, which seemed extra creepy to me this time, because whoever sent Faith the text also took a picture of her at the party. Like, they actually took a picture of Faith at the party and then sent it to Faith with a comment about her mommy. It just seems so unnecessarily stalky and cruel. I guess that's just the way kids are now, and that's the tool that they use to be cruel. But it's also kind of the way of the world, isn't it? I mean, it's reality. Unnecessary cruelty. There are people who are miserable who want other people to be miserable because then it justifies their own misery. I don't know. I wish that Faith were my daughter, and someday she will be. Or I wish that Faith was my sister, because I want to talk to her right now, and I want to tell Faith to swing back. I want to tell Faith not to run away. I want to tell her to swing back. I mean, I never start a fight. But if you want one, you got one. And I feel like Faith needs that message, because the world is full of bullies. Whether you're 14 or 40 or beyond. I mean, there are people out there who will push you just as far as you let them. My mom always told me, and this is something I will always remember my mom telling me over and over. You have to teach people how to treat you. And I've thought of it often as an adult. I mean, still to this day, I think about that. You have to teach people how to treat you, including the anonymous little cowards hiding in the corners with their smartphones and their cameras. You gotta teach them how to treat you, and sometimes that means not being afraid to shove them back. Oh, I have a way of righting a wrong. Faith is a Newman. She should have a way of righting a wrong. But yeah, I think Faith's got a good head on her shoulders. I think I'm gonna have to, at this point, push her out of the nest a little bit here and trust that she knows how to fly. I, for one, was glad that the audience was not invited to Dina's funeral. I've had all of the sad that I could handle. Just park the obligatory giant oil portrait right at the entryway of society, and we'll just get on with the celebration of life party. That's good enough for me. I didn't need to go to the church. It was pretty good, really. I mean, my absolute favorite scene of the entire week was everybody just sitting around, buzzed, talking about Dina's tales of adventure. I mean, a stolen yacht, a duke, and even a matador. Fun! I mean, there was just so much legend to fill in the space around Dina's absence. She wasn't there for her family, so there was all this opportunity to fill in legend where she wasn't physically. Maybe Tracy got her love of storytelling from her mother. I mean, the imagination of what her mother could have been doing, paired with the stories about her mother, you never know. There's a lot to be said of Dina, good and bad, and I like that the Abbotts remembered both and acknowledged both. It's all been said, the good and the bad. With Tracy and Ashley at the park, Ashley saying, "Hey, can you even imagine abandoning your family?" And Tracy going, "No, I can't. In fact, it makes me angry because I would give anything for one more day with my daughter." And yet Dina chose not to spend time with her daughters or any of her family. And then there was Jack's eloquent toast, again, just, sort of listing the good and the bad, and just a real acknowledgement of who she was. I think it was a good goodbye for Dina. She will be missed. I enjoyed that very much. And I really started enjoying it after Theo crashed the place. He turned it from a pretty dull get-together into an afterlife party. He crashed the afterlife party in the nicest possible way, though. I don't understand why he wasn't invited in the first place. I mean, Theo was at the Abbott house before the funeral. He was talking to Jack, seeing the teardrop of love, and Jack having to admit that Theo was left out of the commemorative family jewelry set. And, Jack's defense was, it was a real moment when Dina died. It was awesome. You should have been there, Theo. I mean, what, how is this your reasoning, Jack? Oh, it was awesome. You should have been there. Well, why didn't you invite him there? Jack had all the control over this. And if you didn't invite him to that, then why didn't you make up for it by at least inviting him to the funeral after party? Theo was purposely left out of the celebration of life at society, too. I don't get it. They had just talked about respect. Theo and Jack were just standing in the Abbott living room talking about respect, talking about family. Well, you can't talk about respect and about family and then leave Theo out repeatedly when it matters most. Ugh. Theo was as much of a breath of fresh air in this family as Dina was, and we all know what that means is going to happen to him. Ugh. Everyone was sitting around feeling blah until Theo crashed in, and he was, using one of Dina's favorite songs as his ticket to the party. It was kind of cool. He put the song that he knows Dina liked. He tracked down a song that Dina liked. He put it on the loudspeaker, and he had those stiff abbots like up and boogieing with a drink in their hand in no time. It was exactly what they needed. It was exactly what Dina would have wanted. And everybody seemed to kind of get that, except for Kyle. Why can't Kyle muster any empathy for Theo? He's such a spoiled brat. Kyle found a way to make Dina's day about him and his feud with Theo. And no, just about him. It was all about him. Kyle actually threw a little hissy fit and ran out. Kyle made Dina's celebration of life all about him, and then he turned around and also made the will reading all about him. I'm sick of Kyle's attitude. I don't get where it's coming from. I don't know why he can't come up with even a shred of humanity to, at least for the family's sake. Why make things more difficult? The will reading was difficult enough. Well, not really, because, gee, Dina's will was hilarious. It was like the freaking one-night stand comedy hour up in there. Dina told Tracy to give an old woman a break. And then she suggested that the Abbotts use some of her money to erect a building with her name on it. I mean, Dina even wrote in her will a huzzah! Gee, that Dina really knew how to warm a crowd. Even from the great beyond, she was warming up the crowd. I was totally disappointed in this will reading. Totally disappointed. First of all, it's weird that Dina would have insisted that Abby be the one to read her will. That's weird. Who would do that? My granddaughter is grieving my death right now, and I'm going to make her stand up in front of the family and read my final wishes, even though I have this cool-looking lawyer who's going to be standing right here and is perfectly capable. Okay. But more importantly, that will reading was totally lacking on any kind of drama that I was anticipating. There was nothing juicy. It was all predictable. Jack, Ashley, and Tracy got all the money. Abby got Dina's apartment in Paris, which is probably going to cost her a fortune in taxes. No thanks. Kyle got some artwork, which I'm sure he will not appreciate, although I do find it a hilarious continuation of the Dina legend, that there was an implication that she knew and probably slept with Picasso. Oh my gosh, there was so much they could have done with her. But the biggest kick of all, I mean, the one and only surprise, and it wasn't even as much of a surprise in the way I thought it was going to be, it was way more of just a blind side, was Theo getting an official letter to attend the will reading. The guy shows up with his black mohair trench coat on with the collar popped up, looking like he's about to become a rich man, only to find out that what he inherited was a pen. A pen. A pen? A freaking pen? A pen. Sorry, long-lost son. Your two wealthy parents had nothing to do with you your entire life, but now in death, we would like to commemorate this occasion by issuing you this pen. What? That's just mean. I mean, I get the significance of Stuart Brooks's pen. He was a journalist. I get it. But a pen? I get free pens in the mail with my ink and toner purchases all the time. Nobody needs a pen. That pen was just another opportunity to kick Theo in the pants, which, by the way, is exactly what Kyle was doing the whole time. Kyle stood right there, smugly looking at Theo, while Theo had no other choice but to take it on the chin, to just keep his mouth shut, act like it didn't hurt, act like he wasn't disappointed. And all the while, Kyle is basically saying, well, Theo got more than he deserved. More than he deserved, even. I tell you, if I didn't know what was going to come next, I would have thought that Y&R was doing a brilliant job right now of establishing Theo as the underdog, only to have him, like a phoenix, rise up from the ashes. But I know better now. When Y&R had Lola dump Theo out of the blue after spending months and months on their slow burn opposites attract romance, I chalked it up to yet another directional change by this writing team. They do it all the time. And then when Theo was snubbed by the Abbott family before and after Dina's death, I chalked it up to Y&R having a larger plan for Theo's revenge plot, for some kind of revenge plot that Theo was going to come up with. But now, so it seems, all of this was just the foreshadowing of Y&R deciding to dump the character of Theo altogether. Tyler Johnson, who plays Theo, has announced this week on Twitter that he's been let go. What do you think? I mean, what do you think of that? I'm going to make that our poll question this week at yrchat.com if you want to vote that you're all right with it. I mean, do you see the value in just quietly moving Theo off the canvas so we can focus on some other things? Did you have trouble connecting with the character? Do you have a good argument for cutting him? Then leave it in the comments. Or are you like totally angry about this, or at least like not liking it like me? Go to yrchat.com. I've got to see how these numbers come out this week on the topic of Theo going bye-bye. I don't like it. The character of Theo is at this point rumored to be a victim of budget cuts. Okay, I mean, I could have expected budget cuts in the wake of everything that's happened, but don't talk to me about budget cuts when they just hired a Sally Spectra. Don't give me budget cuts as an excuse when you've just hired another star. Couple of them. I mean, if the fans didn't like Theo, they felt like his character wasn't working, that's one thing. But nearly everyone I've heard from likes at least the drama and the different edge and the different flavor that Theo brought to the show. I don't know. We'll see what our poll results say. That's why I want to know. Like, have I been alone in reading Theo as great this whole time? Am I the only one that's shocked by this? I just don't understand. And this is so typical of this Y&R team. I can't hide it. it makes me so mad. Like, why spend all of this time since June of 2019, that's when Theo came on the show, why spend all of this time making Theo a front burner character only to cut him when things are just starting to get good? They bothered to make him a legacy character. Stuart Brooks is his grandfather. Dina is his grandmother. They connected him permanently to the Abbott family via Dina. They spent months fleshing out his personality, his weaknesses, his strengths, his what makes him tick. Theo's character has more dimension than half the rest of the cast. He's on the show practically every day. No other character has gotten as much screen time as him. And then Y&R, well, besides Adam, it was like the Theo and Adam show for so many months now. And then Y&R pulls the plug right as it seemed like Theo was on the edge of a new horizon. I don't recall ever being so dissatisfied with a Y&R regime's decision making. Well, I don't know if it's me. Is it me or is it them? I'm not sure, but I feel like this executive team, this writing team, cannot stick with anything. They can't stick with any stories. They can't stick with any characters. They've had a dozen bad ideas. They've had dozens of bad ideas that never go anywhere, and then the few brilliant ideas that they do have get drowned midstream. Now, I don't know if there is some kind of politicking happening behind the scenes that's going on. It's at play here. Because for all I know, there was some kind of personality conflicts that couldn't be resolved. But speaking purely as a fan, I want Theo. I want Theo. And frankly, I find it suspicious that this news came out on Election Day. My conspiracy theory is that Y&R and they let Tyler Johnson break this news, and he had to break it on Election Day so that the story would get buried with the election coverage. I think Y&R was hoping that I wouldn't notice. Well, guess what? I noticed, and I don't like it. I hope that I don't end up taking out my disappointment about losing Theo on Sally Spectra. It's a total possibility because it's really hard for me to not connect a big entrance with a big exit. A big casting entrance comes just as a big casting exit goes. It's hard for me to not associate those two things, especially when the two characters clearly would have been associated and in the same circles. It kind of feels like to me that what Y&R is doing is saying, okay, out with the old challenge for Summer and Kyle, Theo, and in with the new challenge for Summer and Kyle, Sally. Oh my gosh, what does Theo's exit mean for Lola? What's left for Lola? Sally Spectra is going to gobble up all of the attention. I will predict this for you right now. Y&R is going to make everything all about Sally. And then they'll cut Sally right as her story starts to get good. That's the way. I've been excited about Sally Spectra for months. I mean, a month. Ever since we found out, I've been like raving over it. And now it just has the stank of Theo's exit all over it. Because Sally and Theo would have made a formidable pair. Even this week, if I didn't know that Theo was leaving, I would expect those two to raise some hell together, and I would be all about it. I mean, the story has already established that Theo and Sally knew each other from New York. Small world, that New York. Theo and Sally could really have had some fun sticking it to Kyle or getting up under Kyle's skin. Although I think Sally wants to get up into Kyle's skin in a very different way. It's obvious. Summer was the first one to meet Sally, and it's clear that those two are not going to get along. They seemed to recognize each other's game instantly. Sally's in town looking for work. She has a connection to Lauren Fenmore via her grandmother, the great Sally Spectra the First. But Lauren didn't have a design job for her. Nothing for Sally in the fashion industry. So Sally has accepted a job as Lauren's executive assistant for now. It's pretty clear that Sally has her eyes on a bigger prize. I'm going to guess that prize will be Kyle Abbott and probably also reviving Jabot's dead fashion line, JCV. Yeah, that'd be my guess. How much? Directional change. They decided to drop Jabot Collective, bothered to mention it, and now they're like, let's change our mind. How much you want to bet that Jack will task Sally, Summer, and Kyle with reviving the line, and it'll be forcing them all to work tightly together while Sally and Kyle have eyes for each other and Summer is all jealous about it. I don't know that I would care to see two more girls fighting over Kyle. He is such an unlikable, unrelatable brat. At the moment, anyway. Kyle has no soul. Theo was all soul. And Kyle has no soul. I need to get something more out of Kyle before I can even care who he's dating. Maybe someone could die and leave Kyle an antique pen. Yeah, that'd do the trick. Ugh, forget it. Would you like a donut? That'll make everyone feel better. Would you like a donut? Well, Sandra, Daisy, Keisha, Nancy, Victoria, Michelle, Diane K, Jamie, and Henry, you guys get a donut because you guessed that quote from last week was said by Chance. I thought it was a very funny moment that Chance was nervous, waiting to find out if he got the job on the GCPD, and so he nervously offered Paul, a cop, a donut. Offering a cop a donut. Remember the days when that was the biggest stereotype and most imposing stereotype about the cops, that all they do is sit and drink coffee and donuts? It's not quite the case these days. I want to go back to that. Just worried that all they're doing is sitting around and eating donuts. Oh, good job, you guys. Here's I like it. I feel like this is going to be a good one. Not a good one. This is going to be an obvious one, but I don't care. I like the line. Here it is. Never let the truth get in the way of a good yarn. Ugh. Never let the truth get in the way of a good yarn. Who said it? I know you know. So go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Next order of business, let's talk about our poll question from last week. I asked you guys, should Summer and Kyle stay together or split up? I mean, wow, 72% of you said, let's just split this up. Just be done with Summer and Kyle. We're tired of it. 28% of you, the minority, which I am among, voted for them to stay together. I like Summer and Kyle together. I said it last week and I'll keep saying it. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand why they're not together right now. It was like he wanted to get back together and then she wanted to get back together, and now it seems like neither of them are on the same page, and it's just, I don't understand what happened, and I felt like they made a good match. I mean, these were two characters who were children on the show. I like the idea of them being together. I just, boy, guess I'm in the minority there, along with Victoria, who says, I voted yes. I want Kyle and Summer to stay together. They've had a long history of being attracted to each other. Kyle and Summer share similar values and lifestyles. When Kyle was with Lola, they couldn't agree on spending money. Also, their ideas of the perfect home were total opposites. The writing for these characters makes me not care if they stay together. They're both so elitist. I think they deserve each other's suffering and insecurities. Maybe that's it. They just seem like a match. But the thing is, though, Victoria, is I'm going to guess that there's not even, no need to even compare Lola in there anymore. It is going to be all about Sally. You can just plop Lola out of this whole triangle and plop Sally in there. Maybe Sally's vibe and values will match closer to Kyle's than Lola's did, but I don't know. I think that I'm going to guess the majority of people thought Kyle and Summer should call it quits because the writing, as you say, just wasn't there. There just wasn't enough reason to want them together within the current context. I mean, of course, the viewers who've been around a while remember Summer and Kyle, even right from when Hunter King first came back on the show. Some viewers will also remember them growing up together and that whole, everything that went into building their friendship into their romance. So, yeah, I think that probably the majority of people are just kind of tired of it all. Well, not Sherrod. Sherrod says, usually I say opposites attract. But in this case, Summer and Kyle are two well-suited peas in a pod. So, let them grow together with many entanglements on the vines. Oh, that's a gorgeous way of putting it, Sharon. I don't think I could have said it better myself. Usually opposites attract, but in this case, they are two well-suited peas in a pod. So let them grow together with many entanglements on the vines. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, but Lisa115 says, please split up. I am so tired of these two going back and forth between being in love and breaking up. If Summer still questions Kyle's loyalty, then she needs to move on. Yeah, I think that's the majority opinion right there. But Tony says their breakups and reunions is why I voted for them. We need to promote a Victor-Nikki replacement for the long years ahead. Nick and Sharon are not going to be that couple. Kyle and Summer can do it. They started young and deeply in love. They were separated by Sharon's machinations. They found each other again. Lola interrupted, a la many of Victor's dalliances. It's time for them to get back together for a long while with adventures and misadventures. They can separate and reunite many times into their aging years. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like the idea of Kyle and Summer being that generation's Nikki and Victor. I also like that you mentioned that they were separated by Sharon's machinations. I think that would be a reference to Sharon switching Summer's paternity test results to make it look like Summer was Jack's child. And then there was that brief little moment where Summer and Kyle thought they were related. So anything they had going on had to immediately stop right then and there. But yeah, again, this is a larger point that these two have history. They have traveled a road. I mean, that's pretty far back. That's going pretty far back. But Superplex says, this couple has been irrevocably damaged. There's no way they can be brought back from the dead. Kyle, at this point, is the most vapid character on the show. His word means nothing, so why should we care if he finds love or not? ooh, Superplex. Now that is the truth. That's the real problem here. I mean, I can connect in with Summer on a couple of different levels, but I don't know what to say about Kyle. I can't connect with him at all. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he wants from week to week. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Sure, you can go ahead and throw Sally Spectra in there and maybe some sparks will fly. But I don't know. What do they have in common? I don't know anything about her and I don't know anything about him. Y&R's got some work to do. And you can darn well bet they're going to do it and then they're going to pull the plug. That's always what they do. They get something going and then they pull it. Right as it starts to get good. Superplex also says on Theo's inheritance, I hope that pen has some special value, like Ernest Hemingway used it to write The Old Man and the Sea, or otherwise Theo's inheritance was a big disappointment. Yeah, I know. It's like there's no legend of the pen. If there had been some legend of the pen, okay, I can get something. But otherwise, it's just a kick in the pants. Superplex also notes that, once again, Chemo got nothing. Oh, yes, the always forgotten Chemo certainly would have been an inheritor of Dina's as Jack's child. Like, literally, Chemo is the one person who got less than Theo. The one and only person who was shafted more than Theo was Chemo. Ellen says they've done a good job of setting up Theo's grievances. Jack really blew that conversation about breaking up the teardrop of love. Quote, for what it's worth, I really wish you were there when she died. It was really meaningful. End quote. Open mouth, insert foot, Jack. You made sure that Theo wasn't there. Hashtag Team Theo. Oh my gosh, Ellen, see, that's what really makes this casting news sting. Even worse, Y&R did a good job of setting up Theo's grievances. This was something that Y&R did well. Exceptionally well. And then they just throw it all in the trash. They do this time and time again. It reminds me of the Kane and Tracy romance. I don't know why that's coming to my mind, but it's like, you know, they take us on a weird direction, and then I spend all this time trying to get into it, and then right when I get into it, they just rip it out from under you. And not in a good way. Not in a way that builds anticipation for the show and makes me excited to watch the show. It's just, I was here. I was with you. What happened? You were taking me on the ride, and then all of a sudden you kicked me out. Kicked me to the curb. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Sandra says, please let the role of Theo be recast if Tyler Johnson is leaving. The character needs to be on the show. It's so disappointing I hadn't heard this news until now. Tyler Johnson leaving is a loss for Y&R. He just oozes personality on the screen. Oh, well, we can't have that, Sandra. We cannot have any personality oozing out on our screens. We need bland, boring characters who are only driven by what's going on in their world and what plot is happening that week. No personality allowed. And there's no way they're going to recast him. If they're getting rid of Theo, they're not going to recast him. There's just no way. And I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to do to save him. That's the thing. Has there ever been a moment where has there ever been a time where we got a piece of casting news that was like, what? Why? And then the fans got real mad and then it changed. No, never. The only time their little casting decisions have changed is if there is a regime change, which frankly I would like to see. Oh, I'm so elitist now. I might as well be drinking my cup of hibiscus tea with my little piggy out. But I think this is happening. There ain't going to be no recast, and there ain't going to be nothing we can do to change it. Daisy says, I read that Tyler Johnson's last day was November 2nd. So what was that? Oh, goodness, like Monday? That's terrible news. There's so much more they could have done with his character, Daisy says. I was thinking that the pen Dina left Theo represented Stuart Brooks's company. He was a journalist, and that would mean that Dina left him Stuart's company. Maybe Theo would move away from the Abbotts and into his new life and then could return one day having made it big. But I hope they don't have Theo die in the explosion that Adam might be planning. That would be a little too final. Oh, okay, well, wow, Daisy, you just took it to the end. I didn't even think about the fact that, are they going to kill him for some drama? Are they going to kill Theo for drama? Hope not. Please, no. We need to at least leave this door open. Oh my gosh, though. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. Prepare for it now. If you're a fan of Theo and you're shocked by this, prepare that they will blow him to bits. Because that'd get some ratings for a day. Who cares what they took the past year to build? That'd get some ratings for the day. Oh, man. Okay, so and he left November 2nd, and I get the impression that he was not aware this was coming. I don't know if he was in between contract, or I don't know any of the behind-the-scenes details, and nobody has commented on it, but I get the impression he did not know this was coming. The way his tone was on his Twitter was very, I'm going to take it on the chin, just like Theo took it on the chin with the pen. I mean, Dina and Stuart left Theo the pen, and he took it on the chin, just like Y&R figuratively gave Theo a commemorative pen and then kicked him out the door, or gave Tyler Johnson a commemorative pen and then kicked him out the door. It's insulting both. They've insulted the character, they've insulted the actor. He was so good, and I hope that something good comes for him. His Twitter was very upbeat and very positive, and looking forward to the future. But man, I mean, jobs have got to be kind of scarce right now, and that's happening to a lot of people. I don't think that Dina, though, had Stuart's company. Wouldn't Stuart's company, I don't know what it would be called. What's Stuart's company? Brooks Enterprises? I don't think that Dina would have had any control over Brooks Enterprises. If she did, it probably would have ended up under the Hamilton Winters umbrella. Wouldn't Lori and Leslie have inherited a company of Stuart's? Well, I mean, shoot, they could have Lori and Leslie choose to let Theo run that company, and he could have his own journalism, his own journalism story. He could go to toe-to-toe with Chancecom. So I guess he's gonna just get fired at Chancecom. So either they're killing him, Theo's either just gonna die, or they're also gonna have to fire him from Chancecom, or make him decide to just leave that job where he's doing well, go to another town and set up stakes. This is a disaster. It's such a bad move. There are so many of them. Ambrini says, I would trade Tessa, Nate, Nina, Chelsea, and Elena for Theo. Anna and Mia. Nate's cute to look at, but having sex with Elena is his only big story ever. Okay, pause. First of all, guess what? I agree with you. If we're listing off, and I'll just say guys who I would trade for Theo. Let's say they needed to get rid of a guy for some reason. I don't know. I would trade Kyle for Theo. I would trade Chance, and yes, you better believe I would trade Nate too. And the reason is Y&R has taken so much time to build Theo. I know Theo way better than I know Kyle or Chance or even Nate. I will take substance and personality any day of the week. I mean, Nate's like my new eye candy. I'm under a spell every time he's on my screen, but I'd trade him in a heartbeat to keep Theo. Just not on the same page. Not on the same page about this decision with Y&R. Oh, but Ambrini also says, did you guys hear that Grace Turner from the 90s is coming back? Not sure if it's a short while or what, but I don't know what the show's doing these days. Maybe Grace is coming back for the whole 12,000th episode shebang that Nina's supposed to be back for. She's a weird, kind of an odd pull, but maybe she's already vetted because she's with Bold and the Beautiful, or I don't know why that would be. Grace is not a big character in my mind. She's not a big, she doesn't stand out as legendary to me, but I liked her on I liked her better on Bold and the Beautiful, the actress, than I liked her on Y&R, but I'm open. But here again, don't give me budget cuts. Don't talk to me about we got to lose somebody who we saw practically every freaking day for the last year because we got to cut budgets, and then you're going to turn around and hire a Sally Spectra, a Grace Turner, a Nina Webster, whoever. It's just, I don't understand. I mean, the whole budget cut thing is conjecture, of course, but what else could it be? Theo's character was working. You can't argue. Well, no, you can't, and I want you to. I want you to argue if you feel that the character wasn't working. Balance me out here, please. YRChat.com. Daisy says, I hope they don't have Jack date Sally Spectra. She's old enough to be his granddaughter. Ugh. I thought the same thing, Daisy. I thought the same thing. Sally's had a lot of interaction with Jack Abbott since the moment she walked through the door. Jack Abbott's been talking about finding his new love, and I was totally thinking, is Jack smitten with Sally? Is the love of Jack's life going to turn out to be Sally Spectra? I hope not. It's not even the age difference that bothers me. It's just maybe the age difference that bothers me. Cusso's looking for something, I don't know, a little more mature for Jack at this stage in his life. Leslie says, oh, this is good. Leslie says, so Sally Spectra, the aunt, was played by Darlene Connolly. Now, this is the original Sally Spectra, who also played Rose DeVille on The Young and the Restless, the woman who kidnapped Nina Webster's firstborn, Ronan. And now Sally Spectra, the niece, comes to Genoa City, followed shortly by a visit from Nina. And my mind would love a connection, like Rose DeVille being Sally's identical twin or something. Although I know that this is a huge request from the current writing regime, who sticks to milder stories, at least in my opinion. But in light of that, I'm hoping for at least a quick encounter between Nina and Sally with a witty line of how Sally reminds Nina of somebody or something. Ooh, Leslie also adds they could even have the new Sally steal or swap Chance and Abby's baby for some reason, or somebody else does and she's accused of it. Hoo-hoo-hoo! That's such a great connection, Leslie. Yeah. And hey, I mean, if we're talking baby swaps, Robin says maybe Hillary and Amanda were bought and sold by Rose. Wasn't Rose the one that stole Sharon's baby, Mariah? Okay, Robin, Hillary and Amanda possibly being bought and sold by Rose DeVille is such a great, smart connection. Never would have thought of that. We got an update from Amanda this week that she's headed on back to Evanston to talk to the whoever at the whatever, and maybe she is going to find out that it's a connection to Rose DeVille, and that's so interesting, right as Nina's coming on, right as, Sally Spectra is there. I don't remember, though, Rose being someone who stole Mariah. I think that obviously that was part of the story. Mariah was stolen at birth, but I don't remember that being connected to Rose DeVille. Do you guys? Fill in my blank there. I don't remember that. Oh, well, something I didn't mention previously that certainly deserves a follow-up. Lily and Billy. We got an update this week on what happened in the elevator, and it was apparently a kiss. Just a kiss. Just a kiss. Sounds like there was no after party in one of their hotel rooms. It was just an elevator kiss, a little moment, a little sexy in the elevator. But also there seems to be kind of a non-verbal agreement for them to continue doing this. Non-verbal agreement for more. More kisses, but kisses is only going to go on so long before it moves into the bedroom. And I don't know. I'm okay with it in theory. I worry about it because they work together. That's my only concern. I think it's a bad news for a work dynamic, and they can't keep their mouths shut about it already. Amanda sees what's going on. Victoria saw what's going on. Everybody's seeing what's going on, that the two CEOs are getting it on. I think it's probably not a good work environment to be in. Gary says, it bugs me the way Billy Boy always brings up the topic of his legendary charm, trying to engage people in conversation as to the fact. And to which Sandra responds to Gary by saying, it's not charming to tell people that you're charming. Yeah, Billy's totally obnoxious. His personality type would not fly for me in reality, and yet I do think he makes an interesting and multifaceted character for the show. It's such a weird combination to have going on with Lily, who is so stiff and she's always got a finger wagging at somebody over something. If the work piece wasn't there, I think I'd probably be more immediately on board with it. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but I guess if the work piece wasn't there, they wouldn't really be in each other's lives all that much. So I don't know. Let's do a temperature check here. How's everybody feeling about Billy and Lily and that delicious looking eclair that he bought for her? Lily took that whole eclair and was like nomming it down, and I kept thinking, there's no way you eat eclairs. And also, why would you want to eat that just standing outside of the elevator where you don't have any access to a napkin or a sink or a wet wipe? She just went into that eclair like it was nobody's business without thinking twice about it. Like, if I'm going to eat that special eclair that was clearly from a very nice bakery, I'm going to sit down with it and, I don't know, maybe have something to drink with it. I'm going to make sure I'm prepared for eclair. You cannot just dig in to a cream-filled pastry that's covered in chocolate without having made some preparations for the mess that comes along with it. Is it me? Is that just me? I can't have impromptu eclair. Eclairs need to be carefully planned. Okay. Speaking of delicious baked goods that would probably go well with coffee. I mean, you would want a coffee with your donut, not just like standing in front of the elevator. Gary says, Sharon, happy to be back on the job at Crimson, looking more beautiful than ever. Was it just my TV? I'm loving her. Yes, Gary. I was so happy to see Sharon back behind that counter, making sure the black and white cookies are fully stocked to the fullest extent of the law. And, jiggling around with the espresso machine. She looked good. She looked healthy. She looked happy. And she is going to need all of the positivity and wisdom that she can muster to hopefully help Faith through whatever Faith is about to be going through. Faith's reaction to seeing Adam and Sharon together is also, by the way, what is going to give Sharon another excuse to stick with Ray, not pay too much attention to Adam, and in fact try to stay away from Adam, which is probably for Sharon's own good. Which guy should I choose? The one who loves me unconditionally and supported me through my cancer? Or the one who kidnaps his exes when he doesn't get his way? No way. There's no way that Adam did this. But how else do you explain that he would have her driver's license and her phone and her wallet? I'm sure there's got to be some explanation, but I can't connect it because I just am having a hard time believing that Y&R made Adam do this. Laura, getting to the heart of the issues, getting down to the important business here, says, no one should be kidnapped in uncomfortable clothes. That exposed arm must get chilly. No kidding. Chelsea was kidnapped in a very uncomfortable sweater. Ew, her exposed arm was touching all those cot blankets, and like one of the edges of the cot was pulled up, and you could see that it was this yellowing foam. Oh, I don't want to know the story of where that cot has been. It's so gross. You're right. She was probably very cold, because wherever she is, I imagine it's a basement. She's probably surrounded by cinder block, and she's freezing, and I guess you have no option but to cover up with those disgusting cot blankets. But yeah, the one shoulder sweater is definitely no more of a practical way to be kidnapped than it is to be standing in front of an elevator eating an eclair. T. Nicole says, I read online that Melissa Claire Egan, Chelsea, had her husband play the kidnapper because of COVID and needing to be in close distance. Yeah, I read that too. I saw that that her real life husband came in to play the kidnapper so that he could grab her. Huh. Yeah, interesting. I didn't even notice or think about it, because I guess the thing is, even COVID and the stand-in aside, I didn't think that it was Adam. It didn't even occur to me that Adam would have shown up at the door to kidnap her. But she did have a look on her face like maybe she recognized the person, and then she realized that it was up to no good, like by the look in the eye. I don't know, I guess in my mind I imagined it as a stranger, as a man in black, as maybe someone Adam or whoever was cohorting with. I mean, these people never do their own dirty work. And then because when she woke up in the room, it took her a minute to figure out what had happened to her. She had to, because she was saying, do you know who I am? I love this line. She's banging on the door right after she realizes she's stuck. And she says, do you know who I am? The father of my... Wait a minute. Do you know who I am? If you did, you wouldn't have kidnapped me. Oh, yeah. So it didn't occur to me that maybe Adam would have been the one to do the deed. T. Nicole, though, also says, I'm confused as to why Chelsea can't bring Connor home or go stay with him. I get for the show, with COVID, it's easier to have the kid actors away. They wanted to protect Connor from the article, whatever they bring home. Well, wait a minute. They wanted to protect Connor from the article, but whenever they bring him home, he will most likely find out. What needs to happen for Chelsea to go to Connor or to bring him home? What needs to happen for Chelsea to go to Connor or bring him home? Oh, what needs to happen is for Chelsea, probably, is what you meant. Yeah, okay, so point here. The no kids on set theory is totally blown this week, because we've seen all of these scenes with little Adam. So we know that, kids can be there. If little Adam can be there, then why can't Connor be there? So presumably there's no practical reason why we couldn't have Connor living with mommy and daddy. I guess we just need, what the truth is we need to continue on with the excuse of Connor being away so that Chelsea can go after Johnny, which again to me in my mind is a blob move by these writers. It's too late to cross this path. It's too late. Well, hey, Superplex says, according to next week's preview, whoever kidnapped Chelsea is apparently using her to set up Adam. Will Adam become a clay pigeon, given all the times he's been shot at? Or will Chance save the day, taking a bullet for him? Poor Abby. And right after he proposed to her? Ooh, good juicy comment, Superplex. Because, okay, so you think someone is making it look like Adam is the one who kidnapped Chelsea. Well, then why did he have her driver's license and her phone? Unless whoever's doing it mailed that to Adam, and he had no idea what he was going to be opening when he opened the box. And he quietly to himself realized that someone out there is blackmailing him, and so he sent the text message from Chelsea's phone to all of her loved ones as a way to have them not worry, and then Adam's planning on privately taking care of this himself. There's a theory. Okay, there's a theory. But I also love that you're bringing up the fact that it seems like Chance is putting himself in a little bit of danger. I mean, from the preview, we got Chance, we got Adam, we got a gun. And Abby has been scared this whole time that the job Chance is taking would lead to him being in danger. Yeah, you're right. So maybe Chance is going to get shot and validate all of those fears that Abby was having. We also have to remember that Abby had that dream that seemed a little bit of an extension of more than just, the nightmare show that we got, and a little bit more of the nightmare of her insecurities. She had that dream that Adam was going to plant a bomb at Victor's party. So maybe that was a little bit of foreshadowing. Abby, in her mind, has placed Adam as a danger, not only to her family, but to Chance. At the end of that nightmare, Chance was running off to go knife Adam. No, Adam was running off to knife Chance. So that's something that maybe Abby was foreshadowing, and it's very possible that next week her nightmares will come true. But not before maybe Chance has a chance to propose to her. So maybe Chance proposes early in the week, and then we get that showdown toward the end of the week with Adam and Chance and the gun. Oh, yeah. He looked so happy and cute on his proposal in the park. I mean, they're cute together, Abby and Chance. He was down on one knee, which is, by the way, the direction that most everybody was going, hey, where's this step? How come there's no marriage? And Abby was talking about marriage this week. So we're getting there. They talked about baby first, and then they're backing into marriage. Ellen says, I really don't think Abby and Chance need to wait to have this baby. There are 0 children who are raised by both parents in the same home for their whole childhood in Genoa City. Abby and Chance can be great co-parents after they break up, but they should make a pretty baby now. Time's a ticking. Let's go. Yeah, that's true. 0 children in this home in this town raised by both parents. No kidding. That's a great statistic for Genoa City. Oh, Ellen also commenting about my theory that Adam could just become a vampire. Ellen says, I would absolutely watch a remake of the old soap Dark Shadows, starring Mark Grossman as lead vampire Barnabas Collins. He's perfect for that, Allie. You're right. Oh, man. I've never seen Dark Shadows, but now that you're saying that, oh, my gosh, I need to pick up Dark Shadows. I know of it, of legend. I know there was a movie remake of it, but that would be a good Halloween-y watch. Yeah, and then I'll just imagine Adam in the lead role. Yay! This was all things considered, I had a pretty good Halloween. My daughter looked really cute. I have some cute video of the little tail. She was a cat, and I had a tail attached to her pants, but she still had a coat on because it was kind of cold. And so there's this really cute video of the tail just bouncing out from under her coat. She was walking around with her Halloween candy pumpkin. Oh, she really likes trick or treat. It's going to be hard to break her of it because now she thinks that all she has to do is say trick or treat and she gets candy. So I'm back this week, though, back with you in full person. Everything worked out. I'm back to the fullest extent of the Y&R Chat. Video and audio. It was a pretty good Halloween, and I gotta tell you, I made it almost through the entire week with no preemptions. It started to occur to me on Monday that, the election is Tuesday. Does that mean that Y&R is going to get preempted? And then on Wednesday, when the results weren't in, I started to get nervous. Is there going to be break-ins on some breaking news here on my Y&R? But then by Thursday, I was feeling safe. Like, all right, we're good. And then Friday, boom, preemption for 1 hour. There was 1 hour that CBS decided to preempt, and it was from 11 to 12. Exactly 11 to 12. They said, just forget it. We're going to cut Y&R and only Y&R, but feel free to watch Let's Make a Deal later. Come on. I worry, though. It also started to occur to me that, oh no, this could just be the beginning of a whole new set of preemptions. That's what I'm worried about. And that's what makes me think that it's the reason Y&R didn't do Halloween this year. I just feel like they're not going to want to commit specifically too much to the holidays, because not only could production get shut down feasibly, I mean, if the state decides to shut stuff down, then they wouldn't have any choice at CBS. So not only could there be shutdowns, but there also could be preemptions. And usually if there is a widespread preemption on a given day, Y&R will just hold the episode. I've noticed. They won't post it at CBS.com. They won't do anything. If everybody gets preempted, a lot of times they'll just hold the episode back and we won't get it at all. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a nail biter. I'm nervous that we're just at the precipice of a whole new set of preemptions and shutdowns, but hopefully not. I think Y&R has had some time to bank episodes. I bet you they got 2 weeks in the can. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know anything definitively. I'm just going to hope for the best. Like Tyler Johnson, learning that his job has just been cut, I'm just gonna be over here hoping for the best and keeping a smile, taking it on a chin, taking my pen out of the box and putting it into my jacket pocket. I'll just take the pen and smile. That's the plan. Well, you know, I wanted to say this week that I would love to hear from some new voices at the website at yrchat.com. Now, you know I love my regular chatters, but if there's anybody out there who for some reason hasn't gone to the website, doesn't leave comments, what's inhibiting you? What is stopping you from chiming in at the website? I don't want to make sure I'm not representing any one opinion too much, because it's, for me, it is an app I cannot understand. I have no counter argument. And I'm someone who tries to find counter arguments. I can find no counter argument for why we need to get rid of Theo. So this is a good week that if you disagree with me, and if you really feel like Theo's character just wasn't working, then go to the website, let us know why. Don't worry if you're worried about backlash or whatever. I have structured Y&R Chat to be a nice place where people are friendly to one another. So you don't have to worry about people jumping on you. I got your back. And if you start to get too stressed about it, I'll just open up my purse. I got something that'll calm you down. Oh. Well, so yes, go to the website, leave me your comments, and come back next Sunday for another rousing edition of Who Got Cut This Week. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.